All right, guys, so I only have 5 minutes on this free version, so let's go ahead and jump on into it. Today, we're going to be talking about democracy in America. And our essential question is how do different interpretations of democracy work together or against each other in order to form American political culture? All right, so there's not just one broad definition of democracy, but several, and all of these integrated together in order to form American political life. All right, so let's look at participatory democracy. And participatory democracy takes literally this idea that we have a government for the people, by the people, and it encourages all citizens to play their part in the American political process. All right, so you can take a look at a couple examples here. You have the Tea Party, you have a town hall meeting, and you have a Black Lives Matter protest. This is all individuals coming together in order to exercise their political agency. Now, let's take it a step further. Now, when individuals want to concentrate and focus their political power on certain particular issues, they come together and form these groups, okay? So not only does it focus their political power, enhance it, but having so many of these different groups or factions keep powerful majorities from dominating American political lives. So virtually any group focused on one particular issue constitutes a pluralist democracy, like you can see here. Now let's look at the other far end of the spectrum. On the other end of the spectrum from participatory democracy is elite democracy, and this holds that well-educated, elite, or well-educated, wealthy, and politically connected citizens are more integrated in political life and are better suited to make these decisions because they understand our system and our democracy better than you or I do, rather. Okay? And so this prioritizes this education over common citizenship. And there's a lot of examples of that. You have the judiciary, where we do not elect our judges, and we want the most highly qualified, educated elite of judges to interpret our laws, or republicanism, where we elect officials to elect the president, or we elect people to Congress to make these decisions for us. All right, let's keep moving. What are some challenges that we have to democracy? Now, the first one is that it's just way too complicated. That's why we have elites running the country for us in some cases. So if you want to wow AP, use this term technocracy, which points to the complex political machinery that's involved in maintaining this country of 330 million citizens. Okay? And for you or I, understanding government just becomes way too complex in order to participate. And this leads to this sense of apathy where people just don't care anymore. People check out, whether they check out by not understanding what their political representation looks like or political issues look like. Or in the last two elections, I think we were really stoked to see, I think it was something like 60% of people turn out for an election. So barely more than half. Another thing is this partisan gridlock where everybody wants something different in this wide array of political ideologies. You effectively have in the political process too many cooks in the policy kitchen. And now this brings us to this idea of wealth in elections or wealth in politics. And so if you want to run for a seat in Congress, a seat in the House of Representatives, kind of a low bar to pass in federal government, that's going to cost at least $1 million. All right, so politicians and the political process is very beholden to very powerful groups or powerful individuals or super PACs or industry lobbies, right? So if campaigns rely on big money now, who really holds the most sway over policy? I think we're going to make it in time. Okay, so what is this thing that I keep referring to called American political culture? Okay, I would say that this is what we agree on is something that would be called close to classical liberalism, right? So what is political culture in the first place? That's the overall set of values shared within American society. So it's this thing that we seem to all agree on that defines who we are as a political society. Okay, things like freedom, things like liberty, things like justice, all of these things that we stand for that we all seem to kind of agree on and use as buzzwords. All right, I got a couple seconds here left. So take a look at the food's so nice they named it twice. I put this in here 2 times on accident. Okay, well, you can go ahead and look at that a second time. We have these things like egalitarianism and individualism, this idea that people can get ahead on their own, the American dream, we can rise up in America, to things like laissez-faire economics that says that the government cannot regulate the economy because people